We sit here tonight a bit stunned. The Super Bowl is now complete, and it did not end the way we thought it would. Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike Max, here's a world champion, Trent Tucker from the NBA world, Lavelle E. Neal from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, and the
Run the ball.
The one and only Sid Hartman, wearing his Seahawks sport coat tonight.
Well, there's going to be plenty of second guessing. They got the best rusher in football. They got the 2 timeouts, and they got the ball on the half-yard line, and they pass it. So I think there'll be plenty of second guessing on that one. And even Pete Carroll probably wonder why Darrell Bevel, the former Viking offensive coordinator, called that. But Wilson has done everything good. He was due to do something wrong.
When that kid made that catch, though, Trent, you said Seattle's got something mystical about them.
Yeah, I mean, they were in a position to steal the Super Bowl once again. And you're right down there on the 2-yard line. You got the best and the most physical running back in the game today. I have no idea why they went for a pass.
Lavelle, how does this story get written by those of your fellow scribes throughout the country?
Well, the thing about the Seattle papers tomorrow, they're going to be hammering away at Bevel and Pete Carroll for that play call. And this is a classic case of a coaching staff trying to be too cute when the obvious is right in front of them. You've got power with Marshawn Lynch. Hand him the ball, or have Russell Wilson run a draw play.
But you got to believe there's some reason, some good reason. These coordinators don't just say, well, I don't think this will work. There must have been a reason that they thought this was an automatic, because there's a look in it. It's as safe as you can get.
With 32 seconds left to play, there can't be any reason. And they were going to come up with another miracle like the Green Bay miracle. That catch that guy made, I've been watching football forever. I've never seen a catch like that with about 4 different varieties of how he caught the ball.
So, Sidney, you're good friends with, Bill Belichick well and Kraft well, so it makes you feel good for them because these are 2 guys that you've gotten to know over the years, the New England head coach and the New England owner.
Well, Carroll probably lets Bevel call the stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, from your standpoint, you know Bob Kraft well, the New England owner. You know Bill Belichick well, good friends with Bobby Knight.
I have no problem. I wanted to see more Carroll win because I think there were a lot of things that could have added to his resume. 2 Super Bowls in a row, take a team over that was terrible and all that stuff, but I have no problem makes no difference to me who wins the game.
The thing that's going to stand out about this game is that the Patriots defense stepped up with a bunch of 3-and-outs in the second half when they really needed them. Down 2 scores, Brady put them in a hole with 2 interceptions. The first one was a terrible decision, and the defense stepped up and was able to stop the momentum and allow Brady to get settled in, drive on the field for 2 scores when they needed them.
Trent, you've been a world champion. What's it like when you play a deciding game for a world championship? Does it become a game once it starts, or are you much more cognizant of what's at stake, and do you feel more pressure?
You're more aware of everything, and you know that at this stage you cannot turn the ball over. You can't have that
in
critical
basketball
turnover.
or football or whatever.
And when you turn the ball over and you give the opponent, those extra possessions, they're going to come back to bite you. And for Seattle, this is a heartbreak because they have put themselves in a position to win once again.
But Brady was the one that had turned the ball over a couple times. He was the one that looked like he had coughed it up.
As we were saying in our pre-production meeting, I thought Brady was on his way to being...
Next time you're supposed to bring pizza, by the way.
I'm sorry, I'll remember the next time. But, Brady was up for goal of the game, I thought, because he put the team in a hole. They were supposed to score in the first quarter. He threw an interception at the 2-yard line. That crushed them. And when Seattle scored right before the second half, they carried the momentum in throughout the third quarter. But like I said, they were able to right the ship because of defense. Brady's got another Super Bowl.
Scored them 14-0. Nothing in the fourth quarter.
Where'd he cut me off?
The thing is that Brady and that Belichick that's an amazing team, the way they can complete passes.
So what do you think of your deflated ball theory now? It doesn't look like it had much. He threw 4 touchdown passes. Doesn't look like deflated balls had much to do with it.
I would think now nothing's going to happen with that ball thing because they had control of the balls they were thrown today. He threw them just as well as he threw them at Indianapolis.
To both teams.
Yeah, but the point is, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Yeah. So you're saying that Brady doesn't need to have control of the balls?
I don't think anything will happen with that thing. I think it'll be just a drop.
Well, Goodell certainly didn't do a real good job. I mean, he's running for election there, Lavelle. If you watch his press conference, man.
Despite the ending, this was a fantastic game. I mean, Seattle driving on the field getting cursed with that bobble. For about 3 hours, you forgot about all the stuff that the NFL's gone through this year.
Best thing that could have happened to him that way.
Exactly. It was an exciting game with a thrilling finish, some unexpected bounces at the end. For about 3 hours, Goodell's off the hot seat, and now he can get back on it.
Here's the thing. Green Bay will never forget what happened to them, but these guys are even worse.
Seattle.
Worse mistake than Green Bay made.
Yeah, this is going to sting for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tough to overcome this. I mean, you are right
How
there
can
on the
you
doorstep.
even consider that?
You know, with a chance to win once again, and you make that call there from the offensive coordinator, it's inexcusable.
I mean, we're just sitting here probably like you are at home, just kind of going, now, what happened, you know? We remember the ball was on the 1 yard line, and we remember Seattle was going to win the game, and that's kind of like, what happened?
Now, the number.
Wilson threw it right in his hands.
Well, it was a pick play. Number 13, the tall receiver who had 100 yards receiving, he was supposed to run off a pick and supposed to be open for a quick slant. But number 21, I can't remember his name for New England, jumped the route and it was able to pull off the pick. It was a great play by the defensive back. But, Mike, I can understand the advantage they thought they had with the big receiver Matthews, but that just wasn't time to play that card. It just wasn't.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm just saying that, you know, a lot of times those are automatic calls or something if they give you this, you know.
There's no need to be cute. This is a championship. This is for all the
I'm just trying to give you guys something else to think about.
You work all off season. You work hard all season. You put yourself in this situation. There's no time to be cute.
If he changed the call at the line of scrimmage, he's going to be in a little trouble.
Well, this would be akin to having the Chicago Bulls and saying, Michael Jordan, we're going to throw you the ball, but you pass it to someone else to try to make the game-winning shot.
Well, if Michael Jordan makes that decision, it's okay. But Phil Jackson's not going to get the ball to somebody else first before he calls Michael Jordan's number.
Right. You're not going to drop a play where you say, Michael, I want you to pass it inside to Luke Longley.
No, Michael Jordan's not a decoy.
Yeah.
Right. No, Michael Jordan's not a decoy. They almost made that mistake, you know, before they went back to the huddle, and the shot he made in Cleveland kind of set the stage for Michael Jordan. When Doug Collins was the coach, the play was for Craig Hodges. Phil Jackson said, wait a minute. Do you want your job tomorrow? He said, yes. He said, get the ball to Michael Jordan.
Because Phil was assistant at the time?
Yes.
He was assistant coach at that time.
And the rest is history. Take a break, come back, stay with us.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made.
You're watching CW-23. This week, the Stegeman family from Mora, Minnesota competes on Family Feud. Root for the home team and watch them play the feud. Wednesday night at 6:30 on CW-23.
The Gift of Love. The Jewelry Exchange has diamond and gemstone pendants from $29 to $99, diamond studs for $99, and 3/4 carat diamond hearts for $3.99. Thousands of gifts guaranteed to appraise for double. Buy direct. The Jewelry Exchange in Eagan.
This year, get ready to take on the winter with the Jeep Cherokee, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and the Jeep Wrangler. Being this prepared will have you singing Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. Now, well-qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get low-mileage leases on these 2015 Jeep brand vehicles.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, nothing. Oh, I got health insurance.
You? I thought you'd be the last person to get health insurance.
I know, right? I called MinSure, got someone to walk me through the whole process. You know, I even qualified for financial help so I can actually afford it.
No, you're covered.
Yeah. I mean, if I ever need it. Oh.
You'll probably need it.
Call or visit minsure.org.
See why more people are coming to Audi than ever before at Audi Minneapolis. Experience the legendary performance and handling of an A4 2.0 T Quattro. Lease yours for only $379 a month. Plus, Audi Minneapolis will make your first month's payment. Or try out the luxury and power of an A6. Lease for just $499 a month. The Summer of Audi event at Audi Minneapolis on 394 at General Mills Boulevard and at AudiMinneapolis.com.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
J.D. Hoyt's, downtown Minneapolis. You come to watch a Timberwolves game over the University of Minnesota. Stop on by J.D. Hoyt's because they got it going on. Great chops, great steaks, great seafood. Oh, yeah, great service with Pat and the gang. Welcome back to the Sports Show. Sydney, you've watched every Super Bowl that's been played. This one's got to rank right up there. There have been some maybe just as exciting, but you're not going to top it.
There's never been one like this one. I mean, an ending like this one. Never saw an ending like this one.
Yeah. Well, we've seen some great finishes, but this is as interesting and as good as we've seen.
This is going to, all the good things people have been saying about Carroll, the way the media is now, they're negative most of the time, and it makes no sense what Bevel called that play. First of all, the guy's right on top of right on the line of the scrimmage, and he threw the ball right in his hands. Wilson.
I don't know how to explain it. I mean, everybody's going to have their own version of it, I guess, but wouldn't want to have to answer for that play. How do you think, we were talking about before the break, how do you think the NFL survived this year, Trent? Because this was not a good year for the NFL overall. Do great games save the league and make people forget, or do they get back to, hey, there's another concussion issue, there's another this or that?
Well, they still have some things to clean up for sure, you know, but great games and great moments can overshadow some of the things that you've gone through during the season. But as once this game is all over and people kind of settle down and get back to the natural business of the NFL, some of the things they had to face this year will come back to the table.
And LaBelle, how does that play out? Because as I mentioned, Goodell has his State of the Union address, but he obviously puts himself in handcuffs and says, I can't talk about Deflategate because it's it's still an ongoing investigation. He doesn't do himself a lot of good that way.
Here's where the popularity of the NFL works against itself, because NFL has made itself relevant 365 days a year. We're in the middle of summer and it's baseball season, and NFL's still making headlines. Unfortunately, now they're going to be looking for headlines now that the season's over, and Deflategate, domestic violence, the Falcons turning up crowd noise when the opponents are on the field. All that stuff is going to get drug out into the offseason, into the scouting. Oh, don't you start with me.
Sid's got something to offer here.
So no, I think just for a moment you're able to forget about the NFL's problems, but all that stuff's going to get dredged up again as we move forward.
Okay, let me ask you a real simple question. And it's a simple question with a complex answer. Have we seen, as the NFL peaked out, is it going to have some kind of a decline because there's so much negative associated right now with the game?
Oh, all the good things they'll forget. Here's one thing about the Super Bowl. You get there, And if you don't win, everything you accomplished during the season is out the window. I'll never forget Alan Page. We were in one of the Super Bowls, second one or third one or something like that. And a writer came up to him and says, "Boy, you must not want to go to the Super Bowl if you're going to lose all the time." And Alan Page says this: "You go to training camp and you ask any player, you're going to go to the Super Bowl, but you're going to lose, and they'll say, I like to go, even if I lose." But regardless what he said or anybody said, it's amazing. The Vikings went to 4 Super Bowls. They won 4 NFC championships. And one of the reasons Tingelhoff didn't get in the Hall of Fame, and one of the reasons fewer guys from the Vikings got in, is the fact they lost 4 Super Bowls.
Now, Lavelle, you're indicating that maybe he should have been lobbying better.
Exactly. I hear
he had the vote.
I hear all these years since you went down to these meetings and tried to lobby for these guys.
He was hanging out at the beaches. Who are you kidding?
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
He had one of his dollies down on the beach when he should have been
Where's
lobbying.
your closing ability at, Sid, to get these guys in?
Tell people about Mick Tingelhoff, though, that don't remember the player. Maybe they know the name. Who was Mick Tingelhoff, the football player that just got voted into the Hall of Fame?
Who was what?
For people that don't remember Mick Tingelhoff or weren't around when he played, how good was he?
Played 17 years with the Vikings as a center. He was a linebacker at Nebraska. Never played center in his life. And they signed him as a free agent, and Norm Van Brocklin made his center out of him. And he was one of the great centers of all time. But he didn't get in, I'm telling you, kind of the Viking. I'll never forget, I was close to Lombardi. So the Vikings go down to Green Bay.
Yeah, tell this story a little quicker than you did this morning on the radio. Just give us a little, tighten it up a little. Tell it quickly.
He plays injured against Green Bay, plays with a broken foot or something like that.
A bone in his ankle was broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lombardi tells me after the game, that's the best I've ever seen a center play. I said, "You play with a broken ankle, you're full of junk." So I went to the doctor, Dr. Lannon, who was a Viking doctor, and he sent him
the X-ray.
X-ray.
To show that it was broken.
And Lombardi called me one night. He says, "I guess you knew what you're talking about. I apologize."
Played with a broken bone and was still one of the best players on the field, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, plenty more to come. Stay with us on the Sports Show.
That was long.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Allery's, the original St. Paul sports bar, now with 65 beers on tap.
Ever wonder, why do I hear but not understand? Scientists at Cambridge University discovered the answer. Inside your cochlea, there are thousands of tiny hearing hair cells. Poor hearing occurs when regions of these hair cells die. Amplifying a dead region with hearing aids makes you hear worse, not better. The result of this study is a hearing clarity breakthrough. Using standard test equipment, dead regions of your cochlea are identified. Then, a new type of frequency-shaping hearing aid is programmed to bypass the dead regions. Only your usable hearing hair cells receive amplification. Brilliant. A local study is underway. 100 citizens with hearing problems are needed to receive this testing and then wear the tiny device for 10 days, record results. Now, to see if you qualify. Volunteers may keep the product at a special discount if they desire. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
Thanks for watching CW-23.
In a world full of compromise, the Audi A3 takes a different path. Get uncompromised design, the style and presence of Audi in a lighter, smaller form. Uncompromised performance, a lightning-quick turbocharged engine, and race-bred S-tronic transmission. Uncompromised luxury with standard leather seating and panoramic sunroof. Lease your A3 for only $299 a month. Plus, during the Summer of Audi event, Audi Minneapolis will make your first payment. Stay uncompromised. Audi Minneapolis.
Perfect time to drive an Audi. All year is a perfect time to drive an Audi. Check out the A8, the A6, the Q7. That's got the four-wheel, all-wheel drive all year. Stop on by, say hi to Charlie and the gang right off of 394 and General Mills Boulevard. Welcome back to the Sports Show. Let's move it down to the Gophers now. Lots of Gopher stuff to talk about. Gopher basketball team won a workmanlike game yesterday.
Well, they beat a Nebraska team that I don't think is very good, but they've won a couple games now. They got 9 games left. They're going to have a hard time even get the NIT bid, let alone NCAA bid. I mean, I don't think Trent would have a...
You know, Trent, let me ask you this. This is a senior team. I mean, you got your best players are Walker and Hollins. You got upper-class team. This is not a rebuilding team. What have you seen? Why have they not been able to win close games this year?
You know, when you go down the stretch of a basketball game, you have to do the small things and the little things to have a chance to win.
And they don't.
When you miss free throws, when you have a chance to close the game out,
the
or you
Penn
give
State
up,
game, in the last 4 times they had the ball, they never got a shot off.
You turn the ball over. You know, you can't run your offense to find a quality. You think about the Iowa game, down by 17 points in the second half. They had a chance to put that game away. After coming back, making a nice run, they get to the free throw line. What happens? They miss a free throw. They give the Hawkeyes one more possession. They go down and cash in, and you lose the ball game. Until you can do the little things at the end, it's going to be hard to win.
LaVelle, you look like you had something to say.
I'm just not a big fan of their defense. I mean, they can press okay and create turnovers, but they lose track of their men in half court. And I don't know how you can win close games when you give up points that way. And they've had a couple of really bad losses this year. They're up by 9 at Michigan on the road.
Yeah, they've had some
and blew that lead. And they had a chance against Penn State. They've had a lot of bad losses this year. I just think it's a terribly mediocre team.
Sydney, what are you laughing at?
You ask him what time it is, he'll tell you how to build a watch.
Wait a minute. You just spent 5 minutes telling a Tingelhoff story.
For the 3rd time. Hey, Gopher signing day as well for the football team.
Yeah.
You're comfortable with this class?
Well, who knows? I mean, who knows how good these guys are?
Well, let's ask LaVelle. LaVelle, what do you think of this signing class?
Hey, you know what?
If you're not going to give us an answer, let's go to somebody who will.
Here's why I like Jerry Kill, because he gets a lot of 3-star recruits, and he has that background of coaching up 3-star recruits from his time in Northern Illinois.
See?
So regardless of what the star is,
he
3
knows
or 4
about
stars,
every sport.
Kill has a history of coaching
He was
guys
even
up.
at the Timberwolves game last night.
Yeah.
He must have got it in free.
Does it matter how I got in?
It doesn't matter how he got in. He was in.
Huh?
So do you think the Gophers, do you like what Richard Pitino can build for the future here? I'm back to
I think he's got a pretty good recruiting class coming up next year.
Who knows? Who knows about these recruits,
Oh, the
okay?
one kid is
Who knows about these recruits?
Nobody knows.
That's what you just said.
Yeah. They're going to have a hard time recruiting. Have they got a little time? Hard time rooting here. The good kids, the great kids are going to go someplace where they can turn pro after 1 year.
Here's where I don't agree with that. Trent, Iowa had 3 teams in their state in the top 20 at one time. Iowa, Iowa State, and Northern Iowa. That's not exactly fertile ground, so it can be done anywhere is my point.
It can be done. I mean, you know, 1978, Jim Dutcher brought in the #1 recruiting class in the country. So I think if you go out and look across the country and find the type of players that you believe they can fit your program, it can be done.
Leo Routon stays. Did you guys win a national championship?
I don't know, but we had a pretty good run toward the end of my senior year. We had to overcome some obstacles to win the Big Ten championship, but you know, it was hard to, you know, just to get to the NCAA at that time because only 32 teams went.
Right, and only a couple from the Big Ten. Randy
Right.
Brewer had his jersey retired. Your thoughts?
Very well deserving. He was a wonderful player to play with, a great teammate. You know, he was a catalyst to us winning the 1982 Big Ten championship.
And I was at that game too, Sid.
He was at that game too, LaVelle was.
Pardon me?
LaVelle was at the Gopher game too last week when they played Illinois.
Oh, yeah, he's an expert on everything.
We'll take a break. We'll come back, talk about the Timberwolves and much more. You're watching The Sports Show.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Case Law for all your legal needs, not your typical law firm. Griffin Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us. And Edge Marketing and Promotional Products. From T-shirts to swag, featuring over 100,000 products. We can put your logo on anything.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, the Wild, the Timberwolves, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins. Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, Theater, details, go to TicketKingOnline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
You're watching CW-23.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. Stop on by Beacon Bank. Bob Weiss and the gang are waiting for you. Live out your dream, live the American dream, and find the perfect partner. That perfect partner is Beacon Bank. Welcome back to the sports show. The Timberwolves the other night lost 106-90. They've had just an awful season, and yet people were at least encouraged by their game against Cleveland.
They've had 2 good drafts in a row. The 2 guys from last year can play. Both, what's their name?
Shabazz Muhammad and Gorgie Jank.
Both of them can play. They got 3 pretty good players in that trade. I wouldn't trade Wiggins for Love tomorrow. Wiggins, last night, put on one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Defensively, nobody can watch James. He's automatic.
Let's go to the expert here. Trent, what are we seeing here? I don't know. This Timberwolves team, you kind of go, well, with Rubio tomorrow night, even if they have everybody, they're still below average, but can they get somewhere?
Well, it's going to take them some time for all those guys to come back and find their rhythm. You would like to think if those guys was healthy throughout the entire season, the record would be a lot better. But I do like Andrew Wiggins. I mean, if he continues to grow as a player like we're seeing now, he has a chance to be a bona fide star.
Okay, so if you assume you got to have 3 stars, let's say, in the lineup, he's one of them. Where are the other 2? Can any of them come from the current roster?
Well, they paid a couple guys big time
They
money,
did, but I don't think they're it.
And they are hoping those guys can stay healthy and become top flight
You're talking
players.
about Pekovic and Rubio.
Pekovic and Rubio.
Yep.
Yeah. And Flip believes that if he has a healthy point guard in Ricky Rubio, he has a chance to win some
Lavelle,
games.
you don't look like you agree with that.
Well, no, I don't disagree. It's just that, you know, everybody's waiting for Rubio to get healthy so we can see what this group looks like on the floor. But Rubio's time is going to be limited. So it's going to take a while for him to get his minutes up to where he can have an impact. So this is just going to carry on for a while.
Quickly, Twins going to make any more moves?
If they get a great lottery pick like the kid at Duke or kid at Kentucky next year, they'll be
Then look out.
They'll be
Okay,
competitive.
Twins going to make any more moves before spring training?
They're still kind of sniffing around at a couple of pitchers, so there's a chance they may bring someone in on a minor league contract with an invite to spring training, but no big names. I don't think James Shields is coming to Minnesota.
All right, and Sid still thinks Ricky Nolasco can refine his stuff. Do you think so, Lavelle?
There's a chance. He's got a new pitching coach, and he's back for a second year. Maybe he'll feel comfortable in year 2.
All right, well, it's been quite a day for sports, obviously. The Super Bowl, Minnesota Wild won their 3rd in a row, so they're back in play, all those things. But we like to finish each week with some thoughts from Sid Hartman on Sid, whatever comes to his mind based on his vast knowledge and his experience in the sports world. So, Sydney, I turn it over to you now for some final thoughts.
My final thoughts is that was one of the dumbest calls I've ever seen in my life in that Super Bowl game. When you got the ball on the half-yard line, you got 2 timeouts with 32 seconds to play, and you got the best rushing back in the league, and you call a pass.
Period.
Period. Yep. Lombardi would not have stood for that, would he?
As much as I love coach, Pete Carroll, how he let that happen is beyond me.
Luckily, you love Belichick, too, so that helps. We'll see you back here next week, everybody. Thanks for watching The Sports Show.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Sound Point Audiology. Life is worth hearing.